When astronomers first logged 3I/E Atlas in July of 2025, almost no one paid attention. To most of the world, it seemed insignificant, just another interstellar wanderer, another fragment of debris drifting through the enormous void between stars. Yes, it was only the third object of its kind ever observed, but on the surface, it appeared to be nothing more than a quiet visitor passing through our solar system on a one-way journey. That perception changed the moment the James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful observational eye humanity has ever built, turned its focus toward it. What Webb revealed altered everything. This was not simply an icy body heating up under solar radiation. Deep inside 3 Atlas, something was glowing, steadily, deliberately. Not chaotic, not random. It pulsed with rhythm, like a heartbeat. As days passed, what began as an odd curiosity transformed into something deeply unsettling. Brightness levels surged beyond all predictive models. Thermal energy appeared to originate from within the object itself, not from its sunlit exterior. Then came the signals, radio pulses repeating with precision measurable on a human timescale. And finally, the course shift. The object altered its trajectory intentionally. This was no rock drifting passively through space. This was behavior that suggested intent, possibly awareness. Something was inside 3 Atlas, and the James Webb Telescope may have just confirmed that it is alive. At first, the anomaly appeared minor. A statistical outlier, a single bright point buried among countless others in Webb's infrared data stream. But as scientists analyzed readings from the NIR SPEC instrument, one irregularity refused to disappear. 3 Atlas did not behave like any other interstellar object ever recorded. Normally, visitors from beyond the solar system fluctuate in brightness as they rotate, eject material, or reflect sunlight unevenly from icy surfaces. 3 Atlas did none of this. Its luminosity remained disturbingly constant. Even more troubling was the source, a focused glow emanating from its core, like a compact furnace pulsing at fixed intervals. Every 4 hours, the heat rose and fell in perfect synchronization, resembling a biological rhythm. The timing was far too precise to be geological. It matched no known rotation rate, solar-wind interaction, or natural thermal process. The emission originated deep within the object, unaffected by sunlight angle or distance from the sun. Officially, scientists labeled it a thermal anomaly. Privately, another term circulated in whispers: heartbeat. The pulse was slow, intentional, mechanical, less like stellar radiation and more like an engine breathing in the void. Something inside 3 Atlas was generating energy independently. And for those tracking the pattern, one terrifying question surfaced. What kind of object powers itself in total darkness? As the thermal evidence grew undeniable, radio astronomers entered the investigation. Facilities around the world, from South Africa to California, trained their instruments on 3 Atlas. For days, nothing appeared. Then came the breakthrough. The Allen Telescope Array detected a faint, narrowband transmission, a steady radio pulse repeating every 4 hours, perfectly synchronized with Webb's thermal surges. Initial reactions were skeptical. Noise, interference, equipment error? But the signal persisted, unchanging, precise, relentless. More unsettling still, the pulse adapted subtly to fluctuations in solar wind. Independent observatories confirmed identical patterns, eliminating the possibility of terrestrial sources. Fourier analysis revealed a stable carrier wave unlike anything known to occur naturally. It was as if something aboard 3 Atlas wasn't just active, but transmitting. Researchers attempted to match the signal against known pulsars, neutron stars, and background radiation. Every comparison failed. With no natural explanation remaining, scientists initiated a final test, a return transmission. They sent simple information, prime numbers, elements from the periodic table, basic mathematical constants. 72 hours later, a response arrived. Weak, distorted, but unmistakable. And it arrived exactly on schedule. Something had heard us, and something had replied. On August 18th, everything changed again. Webb's continuous monitoring recorded a sudden energy flare from 3 Atlas, an explosive surge that increased brightness by more than 40% in under an hour. No known comet behaves this way, not even during violent outgassing events. What followed was even more alarming. Orbital recalculations revealed a subtle but undeniable trajectory correction. 3 Atlas was no longer drifting. It was steering. The adjustment brought it closer to the ecliptic plane, aligning its path more precisely with the inner planets. Orbital modelers at the European Space Agency, led by Marco Micheli, reran simulations repeatedly, attempting to attribute the maneuver to natural forces. None fit. The thrust required exceeded anything outgassing could produce. More telling still, the flare and the course change occurred simultaneously, as though one triggered the other. No comet, no asteroid, no interstellar object in recorded history has ever altered its own path like this. Not with precision, not with purpose. If something aboard 3 Atlas was responding to us, our instruments, our signals, our attention, then this was no longer observation. This was an encounter. And whatever controlled this object had just made its first move. Following the maneuver, focus shifted to composition. Spectroscopic analysis accelerated across every major observatory. At Johns Hopkins, a team led by Carey Least dissected every wavelength Webb could provide. What they uncovered deepened the mystery exponentially. While familiar cometary elements, water ice, carbon dioxide, carbon compounds, were present, they were layered with absorption lines never before documented in nature. Some indicated metallic alloys containing rare earth elements commonly used in advanced human manufacturing. Others suggested quantum materials theorized only in experimental physics papers. These were not random cosmic substances. They were engineered, molecularly structured to behave in non-natural ways. Infrared reflections mirrored optical signatures of metamaterials designed to bend light, similar to stealth technologies on Earth. 3 Atlas wasn't just active. It wasn't merely responsive. It was constructed with a precision beyond anything humanity has ever achieved. If the materials were synthetic and the signals intentional, the question was no longer what 3 Atlas is. The question became, who built it? And why is it here? While spectrometry continued, Caltech's Deep Space Lab began passive signal mapping, listening across multiple wavelengths simultaneously to detect structural resonance. What they discovered shook the scientific community. The object wasn't only emitting signals. Its entire mass functioned as a resonant chamber. Every few hours, a low-frequency hum echoed across X-band and microwave spectra, returning to Earth with timing too exact to be coincidence. When analysts reversed and slowed the signal, layering it over sonograms of human speech, patterns emerged, structured, organized, eerily language-like. Not any known language, but intelligible in form. It appeared as though something inside 3 Atlas was mimicking communication, or learning it. Some researchers believe the object is adapting, aligning itself to human transmission logic, preparing to speak in a way we can comprehend. Others fear something worse. What we're hearing may not be the object itself, but something inside it, waking up. New infrared imaging from Webb revealed something even more disturbing. Within the heat map, scientists detected a moving internal structure, spiral-shaped, rotating with unnatural consistency. Smooth, dense, constructed. Unlike debris tumbling inside a natural body, this core rotated autonomously, maintaining a fixed axis even as the object itself spun. It appeared unaffected by inertia, implying inertial dampening or internal gravity control, technologies confined to theory. Even more unsettling, the spiral followed a perfect golden ratio, recursively repeating across 3 scales. This pattern appears in living systems, DNA, galaxies, shells, but never in inert interstellar rocks. Unlike debris tumbling inside a natural body, this core rotated autonomously, maintaining a fixed axis even as the object itself spun. It appeared unaffected by inertia, implying inertial dampening or internal gravity control, technologies confined to theory. Even more unsettling, the spiral followed a perfect golden ratio, recursively repeating across 3 scales. This pattern appears in living systems, DNA, galaxies, shells, but never in inert interstellar rocks. It was a blueprint of intelligence. Design, not chaos. And if such a structure lies at its core, then 3 Atlas may not only be alive, it may be aware. Less than a week later, brightness levels dipped unexpectedly. Initially attributed to rotation, High-contrast imaging revealed something unprecedented. Part of the surface had moved. Not cracked, not eroded, retracted. A smooth, rectangular panel opened, exposing a dark internal cavity. The motion was clean, symmetrical, mechanical. No natural body has ever demonstrated such behavior. Inside the cavity, infrared scans showed stability, no debris, no gas, no thermal chaos. A controlled, cold chamber. Was it an exhaust port? A sensor? A hatch? Whatever it was, it faced Earth. And it stayed that way, locked onto our planet like an eye. Soon after, a second pulse emerged from within. Slower, deeper, stronger. A second heartbeat. Then came NASA's most unsettling discovery. Cross-correlating Webb data with terrestrial spectral databases, analysts identified trace compounds resembling synthetic biopolymers, not DNA, but molecular analogs that behaved like engineered organic tissue. These materials responded to radiation by altering molecular shape, exhibiting programmability akin to living circuitry. On Earth, such materials exist only in experimental biotech labs. Inside 3 Atlas, they are foundational. The boundary between machine and organism collapses within this object. It is neither alive as we define life, nor mechanical as we define technology. It is both, or something beyond both. A vessel, a seed, a message encoded in matter itself. And if that message is awakening, the real question isn't what's inside, but what happens when it emerges. Further analysis revealed something even more disturbing. Using gravitational lensing data, physicists identified a repeating trajectory pattern. 3 Atlas's path wasn't unique. It had occurred before. Ancient structures on Earth, Mars, and Europa showed alignments pointing precisely along its vector. Giza, Nazca, Martian ridges. As if this object had passed through before, and civilizations had marked its arrival in stone. If so, then 3 Atlas isn't visiting. It's returning. And the most terrifying question becomes, what happened last time? In a final experiment, scientists used Canada's Chime Array to broadcast a wideband silence pulse, designed not to speak, but to listen for void response. When the signal reached 3 Atlas, it absorbed everything. For 6.3 seconds, total silence. Then, on the 7th second, it replied, with a signal identical to the 1977 WOW signal. Either it recorded and replayed that transmission, or it was the original source. Fear spread. An unofficial task force formed. Their leaked conclusions were chilling. The signal patterns followed a recursive universal grammar, a template for intelligence itself. More disturbing, it referenced itself. 3 Atlas may contain a consciousness embedded not in circuits, but in geometry, resonance, and light. It may not only be aware of us, it may have always anticipated us, as if this journey was meant to trigger recognition, not from us, but from itself. Then came the final twist. Subtle shifts in star positions were detected worldwide, tiny, but real. When triangulated, the distortions converged near 3 Atlas. Simulations showed localized space-time manipulation. Not destructive like a black hole, but deliberate. It wasn't devouring space. It was orchestrating it. As data continued, CERN researchers ran the signals through quantum harmonic models. The emissions formed perfect harmonic structures, then suddenly collapsed into chaos before reforming into new modes. It was adapting, choosing what we could see. And finally, orbital mechanics revealed an impossibility. Based on origin and velocity, 3 Atlas should not be here, unless time itself had been bent. MIT physicists proposed a radical theory, temporal traversal via space-time curvature. Not faster than light, but around time itself. If true, 3 Atlas may have witnessed civilizations rise and fall, including ours. An artist later rendered the resonance data and discovered a repeated geometric form, a face. Alien, symmetrical, intentional, not a glitch, an identity. In a final scan, Webb discovered a region that trapped light completely, suggesting an interior larger than its exterior. An archive, a memory vault, perhaps sealed until the right observer arrived. For centuries, humanity searched the sky for answers. We sent signals. We waited. But we never imagined something might already be watching. 3I/E Atlas didn't drift into our solar system. It arrived with purpose, with rhythm, with memory. And now that we've seen it, One truth echoes louder than any signal. We've been noticed. And once you've been noticed, you're never alone again. Subscribe for more as this unfolds. Tell us, do you believe 3i Atlas is alive? Or something far worse?